Okay, so we're about to tear down a system that has shaped, well, pretty much all of us, often in ways we don't even see. And it all kicks off with this big promise, a belief that was probably drilled into you from day one. Remember that one? You were told a degree was your golden ticket, your guarantee of independence, your shield against failure. This was the deal, right? The straight shot to a life where you call the shots.
But what if that whole promise was built on something else entirely? No, this isn't some conspiracy theory. It's about architecture. It's about a system of incentives that was designed for a completely different world, but is still quietly running the show today.
To really get what's happening now, we've got to go back. We have to look at the original blueprint. Because the whole architecture of modern education, while it wasn't built to create a bunch of free-thinking innovators, its goals were actually way more pragmatic for the time. This system was basically engineered to churn out two things: obedient soldiers and efficient factory workers. It was all about punctuality, following orders, knowing your place in the hierarchy, and getting standardized results. Was curiosity bad? Not really, but it wasn't the goal. Compliance, that was the product. Just think about it for a second. Bells tell you when to start, when to stop, when you're allowed to eat. For more than a decade, your brain is literally wired to operate on these external signals. You learn to raise your hand to ask for permission. You learn to wait for a grade to tell you your worth. And you learn that the person at the front of the room, they've got all the right answers. And here's where it all clicks. This is the big aha moment. You graduate, you leave the classroom, but you never really leave the structure. The architecture just gets a new logo and a fresh coat of paint. I mean, look, the framework maps over perfectly. The bells that ran your day, that's just the 9-to-5 schedule. The grades you chased, those are now your performance reviews. The teacher is your manager. The curriculum you had to follow, yep, those are your KPIs. The environment changes, but the underlying psychology, it's identical. But today, there's a powerful new layer bolted onto this old foundation, a modern mechanism that makes absolutely sure the structure holds you in place. Financial obligation. You see, student debt is so much more than a financial burden. It's a powerful psychological tool called a behavioral anchor. It's this one huge piece of information, that massive loan, that frames every single decision you make afterward, basically shrinking the map of your own life. And this is how that financial pressure messes with your thinking. It forces you into short-term survival mode instead of letting you have a long-term vision. I mean, seriously, when you're looking at a 6-figure debt, can you really afford to take a year off to experiment or risk starting a business that might fail? No way. You're financially and neurologically incentivized to find the stable job, follow the rules, and just stick to the well-worn path. And that's really the heart of it. True freedom, real sovereignty, is all about having options. Debt is a system that systematically eliminates those options. It keeps you tethered to the very structures you were told that expensive education would help you escape. All right, so we've deconstructed the whole system. And yeah, it can sound pretty depressing, but understanding the architecture is the absolute first step toward taking back your autonomy. This isn't about rejecting everything. It's about learning to navigate the world with a new level of awareness. And remember those incentives we talked about? This isn't some evil plot. The system doesn't need you to be oppressed. It just needs you to be predictable. Governments need predictable taxpayers. Corporations need reliable employees. Banks need dependable loan repayments. The whole machine runs on predictability. And a person conditioned by school and anchored by debt is, above all else, very, very predictable. So where do you even begin? First, start looking past the official stories and analyze the real incentives at play. Second, actively work to reduce the financial obligations that limit your choices. Third, build skills that give you leverage, skills that make you valuable no matter what corporate ladder you're on. And finally, learn to question these structures without falling into total cynicism. And this is the ultimate takeaway, right here. Once you can actually see the blueprint, you're no longer just a product of it. You gain the power to choose how you interact with it. You can take the good from your education without becoming a victim of its structure. That, right there, is the beginning of sovereignty. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. After seeing this whole breakdown, what's the very first, maybe even small step you can take to start building your own path and increasing your own options? If you found this explainer helpful for spotting the hidden frameworks that shape our world, make sure you subscribe. We break down a new one every single week. Thanks for watching.